Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Dr. Spotfire video. This is a monthly meeting. I'm here with Olivier Tada. I'm Jose Leveguer, your host, and Olivier is going to be presenting today. You want to say hi, Olivier, to our audience?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here with you today.
Perfect. So today we're going to talk about a new series of these Dr. Spotfire live sessions. It's called the Administration Tips and Tricks, and we will be covering different topics. In this case, we're going to cover the Application Profiler. Okay, so to have everyone on the same page, we're just, for those new to Spotfire, what is a Spotfire? Spotfire is a visual data science platform that helps smart people rapidly create interactive visual analytics applications to solve complex industry problems. And Oliver is going to highlight this concept when he's present and how that applies specific to this topic. So what Dr. Spotfire? Dr. Spotfire, we have different venues, different formats. We have quick tip videos that are shared from time to time in social media platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn. Then we have also a team of 3 industry experts, Atir Alatar, our data scientist, Boris, and myself, to answer questions. So how it works is very simple. We have these monthly sections, which are live. You can engage right at the moment. Feel free to make comments at any time, and we will answer them live. And we also get input from Spotfire portal ideas, from a Spotfire community, community.spotfire.com. I will give the reference at the end. Then we have LinkedIn. You can contact us directly via LinkedIn or email, or whatever mean you might want. You can also put comments. This video is going to be available later on for you if you don't have a chance to watch it. So all this input gets to Dr. Spotfire, and then these inputs evolve into that we create custom visualizations depending on the needs, or more data functions, Spotfire apps, accelerators or connectors, article use cases, you name it. So it's a content. This is for you and by you. So our motto is learning is not driven by answers, but by questions. So we encourage you to keep the questions coming. Here's a quick disclaimer. I'm going to skip through that, but feel free to pause and read it through. So in today's session, we're going to cover the Application Profiler. It's a series of administration tips and tricks, and we have Oliver Kewetara, Senior Enterprise Architect from Cloud Software Group, or Spotfire. Oliver, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Jose. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jose. Today, we, as Jose has introduced, we're going to present what is Spotfire Application Profiler, which is going to be presented as a tool that will help to optimize the performance in your Spotfire applications that you build. So
Oliver, I can see your screen like halfway. It's not full screen.
Okay, let me change this. Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, great. So in today's agenda, we are going to start by quickly introducing Spotfire and why optimization is important. Then application profiler with as a tool that will help optimize Spotfire application, or at least identify ways to optimize it. The main key features and benefits of application profiler. We'll do a demonstration and then also a best practice on how to use application profiler in an effective way. We have the Q&A session at the end, but as Jose has highlighted, this is an interactive session, so feel free to interrupt me and ask your question as they come in, and we will do our best effort to answer those questions.
And if we cannot answer those questions now, we can always answer them later.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jose. So we wanted to also quickly present Spotfire. Why? The reason is the application profiler is, uh, go ahead, Jose.
No, no, just
Oh, okay, thank you. So Spotfire App is a analytic platform which is designed to help organizations visualize, analyze, and make sense of their data. It will allow to create interactive dashboard, perform complex data analysis in order to uncover insight and drive better decision. Why are we saying this? When we say application profiler, is in Spotify world, we call application, it can be a dashboard or a set of dashboard which are built to provide to end user these features. And inside the dashboard, we have the key features of Spotfire that are going to be analyzed or assessed by application profiler. Those are visualizations where Spotify will use, you can use a wide range of charts, graphs, or map to access your and analyze your data from different data sources. We will also assess the data connectivities where we know Spotify can connect to multiple data sources and gather them within the same application or dashboard. It can include database, cloud services, or big data platforms of various kind. In Spotify, you can also perform some advanced analytics where you can have some predictive modeling inside your applications. You can run some statistical analysis or machine learning, and all that within this single and intuitive user interface. Spotify also inside the same application, you can access some real data and perform some real data analysis by connecting to some streaming or real-time data sources, making it useful for dynamic and fast-paced environment or data changes. And finally, to see this, Spotfire offer a collaboration feature where user can share insight and dashboard with other users by promoting collaboration across teams. So Spotfire is used for many industries and to perform tasks that could be simple data exploration or even more complex predictive analysis. Um, Now, why optimization is important in Spotfire environment? Actually, optimizing Spotfire is crucial, or Spotfire application, we mean Spotfire itself as an application, but also all the development that are done inside Spotfire need to be optimized because this will directly impact the performance, the usability, and the effectiveness of the platform in delivering the actionable insight. So it is essential. The first reason why it is essential is um, when we optimize Spotfire application, it will improve performance and speed. The optimized Spotfire application will load more quickly, therefore reducing the wait time for users. This is especially important when dealing with large dataset or many very complex analysis. When we also optimize the performance we provide some efficient data processing. Optimizing ensures that data is processed effectively, leading to quicker calculations and visualization. This will allow users to interact with data in real time without delays. The second is the user experience, which is enhanced. When you optimize a Spotfire development or an application, you will have a better user experience in terms of responsiveness. It's an optimized Spotfire environment will provide a more responsive or smoother experience, which is critical for maintaining user satisfaction and engagement. It will also reduce frustration because we know that slow or unresponsive application can frustrate some users and leading to decrease in productivity. Then we have the resource efficiency management. When we optimize Spotfire application, this will lower the resource consumption. So optimizing will reduce the load on the system resources such as the CPU, memory, or network bandwidth. This not only improves performance, but also will minimize operational cost. And this is really important. Minimizing operational costs in terms of IT infrastructure is important in Spotfire, and we say that later on. And also for in terms of resource efficiency, we can talk about the scalability. Efficient use of resource will allow Spotfire to scale effectively as data volume will grow or as more users will access the system. So we need that scalability. And in order to foster that, we need optimized application. Then we can talk about the accuracy and timeliness for the insight. So if you want to make some real-time decision making, we also need some accurate data calculation. By ensuring that complex calculation that we do in Spotfire world are performed effectively, efficiently, the optimization will reduce the risk of error or some incomplete analysis that are made. The same thing for real time, where we optimize application, it will provide insight more quickly and enabling timely decision making based on the most current data. About the cost management, this is mainly about infrastructure cost. When we optimize Spotfire application, it will reduce the need, for example, to have additional hardware or cloud resourcing, and therefore, as we said, lowering the IT infrastructure cost in this case. The support for advanced analysis, we presented this as an important feature in Spotfire, where we can really build complex workflows involving advanced analytics such as predictive modeling, machine learning, and therefore it is critical to optimize them. And it is important to identify any advanced or complex workflow that can be potentially a performance risk for Spotfire for Spotfire performance. Well, we mentioned the adoptions, but this is also in terms of user experience, it will foster the adoption of and the satisfaction overall, which mean that uh, when you use an optimized application in Spotfire, when it performs well, end users are also more likely to adopt it and continue using it. And it's also a very advantage when you have an optimized application running. So this is the main reason why we really need to have to ensure that the content of what we deliver in Spotify are clearly optimized.
Okay. So
And
you're saying if you go back to the slide just to highlight something,
yeah,
you're talking about the wise optimizing in Spotfire because the application profiler will help to address or help those bullet points that you just present, right?
exactly. And this is actually the optimization is the topic. And in order to ensure that we are delivering optimized application, we will use application profiler that's going to provide some, we will see that in the presentation, some key metrics to measure all our application and see if those are optimized already or potential risk or where they can be optimized better, and also see the trend. But we see those details in the presentation and
Okay,
the
okay.
demonstration. Okay. So this is why it is important. And then where is application profiler playing an important role here is when we use Spotfire application profiler, we actually address the optimization issue in here by providing, as I said, many detailed insight into the performance and usage of Spotfire. And the first thing is we will identify any potential performance bottleneck, potential or existing, right? Potential when we foresee and we can see the trend, or we can already see an issue. We will identify those, for example, by running the application profile to track those key performance indicators such as the load time, the refresh rate, the execution time for some specific action within Spotfire dashboard and application. And when you gather this matrix and by analyzing those metrics, we will identify where delays can occur, such as, for example, data retrieval or some calculations or just some visualization rendering. If you have a very complex visualization, the rendering time can be more or less long depending on how many information are being rendered into a single visualization. It can also be some complex expression, advanced custom expression that can also lead to some delays in calculation and producing the result. So all
Mm.
these metrics are provided, can be gathered within the application profiler.
So the application profiler will check the a specific folder or set of analysis, and it will check one by one to address this type of things, identify bottlenecks or complex calculations and things like that, right?
Exactly. It will actually act as if they were a human opening. We will see
Manual.
that when we will see the options on how to configure it, but it'll actually act as a human opening or a dashboard and playing, changing filters and so on, and see the results and the response time. And it will really the metrics that are provided will help assess the responsiveness of the dashboard that has been built. Usually, when you have an application, you don't see exactly. You just have the feeling, right? So now we have the clear metrics saying that this dashboard is rendering in within, I don't know, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Is it acceptable based on the complexity of the calculation and also the user expectations? This is a kind of metrics that will be provided to help identify potential simplification or optimization in the dashboard.
It's also good. The application profiler is also very useful when it comes to migrating from one version to another, right? Because you want to make sure that all the analysis from this previous version works as expected in the next version.
Yes, sure. It's we even if we encourage, we'll see that later, encourage the user to use it as as a regular tool to run to assess the application in a regular basis. It is really critical before any upgrade. We really encourage using running it when before you change Spotfire version in order to being able to spot any impact incurred by the new version of Spotfire, positive or negative, right? It could be positive. You can also use it to highlight that by changing or moving to another Spotfire version, you have also gain in terms of performance management for your applications, or
Mhm.
the other way, but it's preferable to have this in this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we said that the performance bottleneck. We mentioned, some metrics on the performance, but also we will the performance in terms of execution, but also the complexity. Usually, when we want to, for example, make a platform sizing, we need to understand what are the complexity of the analysis themselves. And the complexity means, for example, the number of data tables, the number of transformations inside an application, the number of calculations, those kind of things. When we run application profiler, it's going to provide this kind of metrics in order to help analyze the complexity of any dashboard, right? And this is really important because the more complex analysis are more likely to have or also experience some performance issue. So it's important to highlight this kind of potential performance complex analysis. Then we can quickly also talk about the resource consumption analysis. We said that, resource consumption is the memory usage, memory and CPU usage. And when we analyze how much memory or CPU is used by some specific analysis, it is really useful to foresee when they will be deployed in production, what will be the memory or the resource consumption. And therefore, administrator can use those information to better load or direct the loads to the resources This is another task where when you deploy in production, you can really see define where each application or each analysis or dashboards is going to be loaded in terms of resource, and therefore by giving those information to the to the load balancer, for example, you ensure that the load is distributed evenly across nodes or across resources. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, great. We mentioned the continuous monitoring. When you run application profiler several times, it's going to create a trend so that you can see or can foresee what's going on, or so we can highlight some sudden degradation in performance and take actions before it becomes critical or it becomes blocking, right? The continued monitoring will also allow user for some to have some feedback, right? So the feedback ensure that application will remain efficient and responsive as they evolve, and when the user need change. Because when the user will ask for change to the application, you can also highlight what has been the impact of performing a change or additional feature in an application. So this continued monitoring that the application profiler provides will help identify this kind of trends. Okay.
Yeah,
And then it's a good tool for collaborations among teams. When you say optimization, we don't optimize. The IT is not going to optimize itself. It needs to talk to business to see which kind of simplification can be done, or which kind of decision is potentially being the one that should be taken to optimize a production application. By using application profiler, you have all these metrics and information that will facilitate the communication and collaboration between IT, businesses, or business analysts.
yeah. Maybe you have a something that you release and a lot of people are going to use it. You can also run that to see how it's going to impact the performance. I can see that, and also the if you need more resources in your servers as the user base grows, right?
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Well, this is the application profiler, and just a quick summary regarding the key features and benefits. We said performance metrics. It provides some performance metrics like load time. It will track the time it takes for for application, or any individual component inside the application. Dashboard visualization, how long it takes to load. First, the load time, but also the execution time. Once you have loaded your application, how long it takes to render, to render a visualization. When you filter, all these interactions are also being tracked, can be also tracked by the application profiler in order to provide all this information at load time as well as during the execution time. So we mentioned application complexity analysis, which is important to highlight complex applications, resource consumption tracking, memory usage like memory usage or CPU and so on, that will help organize and optimize the IT, the infrastructure or the operational costs. We mentioned the continuous monitoring that provide some trend and historical analysis. We will see that in the example I've run here. And also the reporting, so application, the result of the application profiler is in terms of a Spotfire dashboard, right? You have some dashboard that are provided by the tool. That dashboard can be customized. You can change. You can add more visualization, but already the out of the box already provide a lot of information that can already be used.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before we start this, I run an application profiler which was quite long. So I'm going to present unless there's any
Questions?
question.
I don't think we have any questions so far.
Okay, so hold on. Can I close this?
So what you were seeing here is the application profiler, and you are
Yes, I'm just trying
repeating.
to close this window. I think I have an issue. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going
Sure.
to see what's happening here in my. So we have the application profiler windows here, and it is something that I've already run. I think I need to close this and open it
Again.
meanwhile, if you have a, just give me 1 second, please.
Yeah.
To close. Okay, it's done. Close. Come back here. I think it's fine. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the profiler interface. We define what we call a configuration. Configuration basically is what you want to analyze. In my case, I have taken my local library folders containing some dashboards.
So these are the path that the application profiler is going to
Yeah.
crawl and go through each one of the items in those folders, right? And you can add them from there. What options do you have there?
So, yes,
A
from
local
there.
folder or files. Okay, so either in the library or local, you can add those DXPs or files that you want to analyze. And this
Yes,
application of profiler, of course, is something that someone with access will have, and that you can find it under. If you have access, you should be able to see it under tool diagnostics, right?
yes. Let me show that. Let me quickly open the analysis and then um, yes, you're totally right. I agree. So you have the application profiler from this menu. So from the diagnostic menu and application profiler, you will load the latest configuration if it is still available there. So in this config, we will have to set up what you want to analyze. It can be
Mm-hmm.
all our library folder, it can just be a subfolder, or you can really include everything here. It can be, as we saw, a folder, a file, or library folder, or local file, library files. A file meaning a dashboard, right? A DXP file.
Mm-hmm.
DXP file. Then by default, it already performs some actions by the time it's, for example, loading the files. For sure, loading a file or dashboard means it's going to open from the library and measure time it takes to load, and also the time it takes to load all the data table inside, and
Okay.
will also measure the time it takes to render the visualization inside the dashboard. Right. Um, Here is the extract test option. I've checked all of them to show the results. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, we say the render original visualization. Right. So we want to for all the visualizations, this is basically all visualization inside the dashboard. So before checking these boxes here, you need to know the impact. It means that all the visualization inside dashboard will be rendered. It's not just loading the data, they will also render the visualization. Interacting with visualization also means that when you check this box, it's going to, for example, perform some marking and say highlight and see how long it takes to mark some data when those visualizations are using markings. Filtering. Filtering, this one is very interesting. Filtering on all unique filter combination. You see what it means? So, well, if you have many filters or many columns with different distant values, basically here, when you check this, you should expect, for example, when you have many values in your filters, you should expect it to take time. And all these, I think we are running a little bit out of time. You will see that you can also create some visualization, save and reload. All these are extra tests. Then all these when you run the
when you run the application profiler, it's going to create some data in this location output there. Very quickly, you can also use some scripts to make some additional things here. For example, you want to display the visual having a certain property, and then the output can also be added there. The script can be created. So let me see. These are really basic script that was copied from the example. This one is just um, searching for all the visualization, the bar chart for which you and
Oh,
display
okay.
your regulations and so on, and the
So, for
output.
example, Oliver, I
Sure.
can create a script if I want to apply like a landing page on all my specific set of dashboards. I can create a script that creates a specific landing page and apply that to all of my dashboards. It's just like
Exactly.
you said. Instead, it's a way of another way of automating things, right? You can put a script that.
Exactly. It can be used that way as well, even if it is not the application profiler is originally made to analyze or to make a profile. It can also be used to change or to make changes in the
Mhm.
bulk changes. We have many use cases that are doing that, by the way. So yes,
Yeah,
good
but
point.
there are other ways. It's just another way to automate things through
Exactly.
application. Great.
Exactly. Especially when you want to access the full library. For example, you want to detect or to see all the dashboard having a certain feature before upgrade. If we know that a new feature or certain feature has become deprecated or the behavior has changed, we can run this to identify all dashboard using that feature, right? So this feature is also really important when you upgrade from one version to another.
And I think I missed the part where you say um, available output columns for each document, data table, or visual. That
Here,
yeah.
this one, yes, actually, when you do this, you have two scripts. The first one is the main script, and the second one is the script that actually adds additional information into the output, right? And this is, for example, that script. It looks like this is the one you have in the help. So you are this, but you can really add more complex script than this one, right? So here you are adding a new column in the resulting data, which is called bar chart orientation.
Hmm.
For the output data type, you're adding this bar chart orientation, and we will see that in the result. In the result, we will have, for example, here. If you look at this, let me close this one.
Yeah.
And, in the visuals there, you have the bar chart orientation. This is the additional column that was added there. And you can see
So
that
it
when
generated one table or multiple table after because that's the output of your application profiler, right?
yeah, we have multiple tables. You can see
Oh, okay.
those here, right? The application will create all these tables there,
Uh-huh.
visualization files, data table, relation, columns, column matches, and
And
this.
even a DXP, right? A basic dashboard that will consume all that data. But like you can, of course, modify it to
Yes,
your
yes.
own.
When you do this, once you have run a config, you click on show analysis. It's going to create this the DXP with
Okay.
these tabs, depending on and with the data that depending on what you have
Yeah.
checked.
The settings and everything.
And then you have this raw data here. So I was
Hmm.
highlighting that, for example, for the visualization table, it's going to create this new column. That was a custom column that we added using
Oh, that's the one that you created. Okay.
the
The script.
Iron Python script.
Hmm.
And well, here you have all the analysis. I mean, the dashboards, the ID is the grid. Then you have the path versions. I think I have one here running a different version. No, they are all the same version. And we have this matrix there. You will have the time to go through those metrics per files. These are the data tables, the time it takes to load the row counts, columns, and all this.
Mhm.
We said you will analyze this to to assess
Okay,
the complexity of an analysis, right? If,
interesting.
for example, you see how many data table they have, the number of records, columns, the time it takes to load, and so on. You also have the relationships with the inside the same dashboard. You will see if you have the relation in the data in your database or not. Also, you have the same thing for the column. These are really the raw data. Then you
Yeah.
have okay, so then you will have some more, let's say, usable dashboards like here. You will have for the number of fields, number of okay. If you click, you will see some
Okay, it will give you a breakdown of what's valid, what's not, and so forth.
exactly depending on the status there. The product version, and you can see if the because I've checked everything on my config if
Hmm.
it was resaved or not, so that it was opened and resaved. It's true.
Yeah,
Most of them were resaved. By the way, this test took a lot of took time to perform,
I see.
and
Well, that's another thing to be cautious of. It doesn't matter if you have 3 or 4 DXPs and you're running application profiling and you say, hey, but my folder only has a couple of DXPs. It really doesn't, it's not dependent on the number of files. It depends on the complexity of each file. So if one file is just fetching a lot of information or it takes too long to load, well, that's how long it's going to take, plus all the settings that you did in the application profiler type of test that you want to perform on, because it's going to go through each visual, each tab, testing everything, clicking, automating all those tasks, make sure that it works, if I understand correctly.
exactly. And just to confirm what you're saying, for example, I think I have a line chart in my user action log. Yeah, this
Mhm.
is, for example, a user action. This one, we saw that it can take a minute, 10 minutes to load to render this. And it was the biggest one in my configuration. I wanted to highlight that this is also something that we can easily see by looking at this matrix there, how long it takes to open any single file. If you look
Okay.
at files overview here, we don't have the execution time, but we can also have I think it is here, the first thing, the first tab in the files, expected duration, it's elapsed load time. If you do like this feature, we can see that this one here, is
Took a long
really
time.
how long it takes to load, right? So we really see the highest consumption, resource consumption dashboard that are highlighted thanks to that, so that we know how to distribute them, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, if it takes 1 hour to load the data, then this is a good candidate for schedule update, for example.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if
We
it
can.
takes 10 gigabyte, then probably you want to put it on a different resource pool. That's going to impact others. So running
Mhm.
using this to identify this kind of uh, to categorize your content, the content of your library, will really help use the resource, or also discuss with the team on how we can optimize those. Right?
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, we're running out of time. Is there anything else you want to cover, Olivier?
No, I think we are okay. I just wanted to give some best practice, but it's what we've already said, right? So, in terms of best practice, let me quickly go into this. We, as we were pointing out, is always recommended to regularly run application profile, just not a one time. So do it regularly. It can be weekly, it can be monthly, or before a major release, or before or after upgrade a resource, or when you want to add a new feature in your dashboard. Using application profiler will really help monitor the impact at any stage, but also foresee any potential risk. And we said identify high impact application. It could be high impact in terms of consumption, but it could also because they are mission critical. You need to identify mission critical dashboard in order to see how to manage them. And for that, running application profile on those mission critical will help you to know where to store and make it perform in production, because they need to be protected from other potential impact application. And also optimize data model and workflows. It's always good to know, because when you run application profiler and see how long it takes to load the data, you can still work with your, it could be IT or database administrator, to see how to optimize those data flows and all those workflows. And also always integrate user feedback. We said resource management is also important. Always pay attention to the resource consumption to the resource consumed by each application. Use the load balancer, use application profiler to see which kind of roles you will put in a load balancer in order to actually ensure that all the loads or some resources are dedicated or actually being used as expected. So performance tuning, always tune your application to either simplify them or optimize. And we saw it's a joint team. It's a it's a work of collaboration between different teams, not only IT but also with the business, to ensure that you are still aligned with the business goal. Educate your end user, it could be avoid clicking, filtering, like filtering every second. Maybe you can filter where to have the rendering before filtering again. It can be, advanced users creating dashboards, explain and educate them how to optimize the amount of data that are being loaded. If you can aggregate the data, they have to aggregate in order to reduce the space it will take for the application or the time it takes to load. And these are among many others, the best practice that I would say that are very important when you have a live application that you need to maintain over time. And using application profiler will really help for this task here. I'm done. So if there's any more question, it's fine.
Perfect. So, okay, well, thank you very much, Olivier, and just remember to subscribe for our recorded session. This session is recorded. Go to our YouTube channel at Dr. Spotfire is our channel where you can see these and previous sessions. Upcoming sessions, also stay tuned. You can subscribe for upcoming sessions. We're gonna have more administration tips and tricks coming up, like for example, the action logs or the qualification tools. Those are more. The next Dr. Spotfire is going to be the new action mod, so stay tuned for that one. That's a pretty interesting one. Don't miss it. And keep in touch. We contact us. You can send us an email to dr@spotfire.com, and we can help you getting engaged. Keep in touch with the community and other ways. You can also put your ideas for specific topics at the ideas portal. If you want to improve, have suggestions of improving or new visualization, or even new Dr. Spotfire topics, you can also do it. There are many ways you can suggest. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.